Welcome to week 4, examining your worldview. What is your worldview? Do you know? Can you define it? Could you explain it to me? Are you freaking out right now? If you are, I don't blame you. Worldview can be an incredibly intimidating concept to talk about, and for good reason. Historically, this term has even been used to contradict Christianity and faith of all kinds. It's been used in all kinds of sectors, in all kinds of ways, to serve all kinds of agendas. And so it makes sense that it would cause us a little bit of anxiety when that word is brought up. But today, I want to talk about it and see what the word worldview can actually offer us to add value to our lives and to our ministry. The word worldview is not all that different from a pair of glasses, just like these ones over here. The thing about these glasses, and the ones that you probably have at your own house, is that they serve me according to my needs, my life, my experiences, and the specific things that I do on a daily basis. Your glasses do the same for you, and our worldviews work exactly the same way. See, a worldview is just a set of lenses with which you see the world around you. They're a collection of habit-forming beliefs that help us to make sense of the world around us and each of our experiences. But they're also very personal. The reason that my worldview is the way it is because of my upbringing, my education, my individual experiences that have shaped me to getting to where I am today. They're also as a result of my faith in God, my time spent investing in my faith, reading the Bible, and doing all kinds of other things that I believe strengthen who I am as a person. And you have your own set of beliefs, your own set of experiences that have made you into the person that you are. And this is not a bad thing. It's a normal thing. It's a human thing that each of us are a compilation of our values, our attitudes, our beliefs, and our actions that all rest on this one thing, worldview. What was once a very intimidating and kind of ambiguous concept can now be used to allow us to engage with others that might wear a different set of lenses than we do. Think of it this way. Every single day, we perform a bunch of actions. We walk out the door in the morning with a tea or a coffee, or maybe empty-handed. In order to do that, we first have to establish our attitudes. Do we like coffee? Do we like tea? Do we not have time for either? In order to inform our attitudes, we each have a set of values. We value our time or our money, our reputation or our careers. These values can look incredibly different depending on your experiences and where you come from, but we all have them. Our values are informed by our beliefs, and those are a little bit more ambiguous. For me, that's my belief in Jesus, that Jesus died on the cross to save my sins, and that I need to behave in a way that reflects my thankfulness and servanthood to Him. These beliefs rest on our worldview, the foundation of each of those items that allows us to engage with our world according to how we experience it. What was once a very ambiguous term can now be used to our advantage to inform the way that we interact with our world on a daily basis. And this is because each of our worldviews actually help us to perform every single action that we do throughout the day. To get from our worldviews to our actions, there are a few other missing pieces that we need to fill in today. First, our beliefs. What we think is true about the world overall. This can be related to your faith or different things going on around the world, but this is a little bit different than your specific worldview, the specific way that you see the world and the lens that everything is filtered through. It tends to be a little bit more generalized. Resting on those beliefs are your values. Your values are the things that you see to be the most important. That could be your reputation or your time, your money, your time spent with family. These are the things that reflect the kind of person that you want to be and that you see as adding value to the world around you. Out of our values, we determine our attitudes. These are more specific things. things that we approve of or don't, things that we like or don't. This could be your attitude towards coffee or tea, maybe dogs or cats, or that particular person at the workplace that you're just not a fan of. Your attitudes are the way that you feel directly towards something. Your attitudes then determine your actions. These are the daily decisions that we make to engage and interact with the world around us. Whether that's making that coffee in the morning or making tea instead, buying a dog or adopting a cat, or whether or not you decide to smile and wave to that person bugging you in the office. As you can see, our actions, attitudes, values, beliefs are all ultimately founded on our worldview. Whereas in the past, worldview has been used to service agendas of politics or philosophy or even the law, in these cases, worldview does not have to be about hot button issues, but in fact can be about the more mundane things of life. Like, do you prefer to buy your coffee from Starbucks or Tim Hortons? Will you attend post-secondary education or encourage your kids to do so? Do you spend intentional time to do self-care, or is that not something you see as important? What does your morning routine look like? Are you someone who values sleeping in, or do you prefer to get an early start on the day, making the most of those early hours? Each of those things are actually determined by our worldview, things that we have seen, experienced, or the things that we have understood and added into our lenses for how we see the world. The critical thing to understand here is that your worldview is your own. Just like each student that you interact with on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis has their own worldview that they use to understand the world around them. There are probably many differences between the way that your generation approaches the world and the way that Gen Z approaches the world. This worldview problem can often feel overwhelming. It can feel like an insurmountable barrier, but I'm telling you, it's really not. Understanding the power of worldview allows us to take control of our own experiences and give credit to the experiences of others. We don't have to agree with them. We don't even have to change our minds, but we do have to give permission for other individuals, especially our youth, to have their own worldview, to reflect on it, to shift it over time, and maybe even challenge our own. As we go throughout our lives, we are going to constantly encounter others who have a different worldview than we do. We need to learn how to engage with those individuals with respect, with kindness, and with the grace that comes straight from the Word of God. And we need to teach our youth to do this. Research is showing that Generation Z is the most diverse generation to date, as a result of many different factors. This means that they are going to encounter more and more different worldviews throughout their lives, and we need to help them be prepared for that. We need to teach them how to respectfully engage with someone who holds a very different worldview than they do, and how to share theirs without being ashamed. We need to teach them how to ask questions, how to define their own worldviews, and ultimately how to let that impact every part of themselves, all the way until their daily actions. By helping our students to be sustainable, dedicated, and wise followers of Jesus, we can help them to be a cohort of resilient individuals, ones that will carry the torch of truth and will have better relationships with everybody that they meet. As youth investors, this should be the goal that we strive towards, to balance truth and grace in a beautiful way, and to prepare Generation Z to do the same.